Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 9th and 10th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish. They're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Hello. Good evening, Rob. How are you?
Hello. I am
And-
fine.
Excellent. And hello, everybody who is joining us tonight. We had a wonderful conversation last week talking with Rob about where he came from and where he's going. And it was awesome. So thank you
As
so
I'm
much.
often told to hell if I don't change my ways.
And of course, I made a big stink about your Dark Water comics. They were fantastic. I love
I
them.
would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
That you stunned me with that one. Okay.
All right, this week we have something a little bit special. Hopefully it's interesting and informative for you guys. We have been getting submissions from young fella. He is not online at the moment, as far as we know. We were hoping he could join us a little bit so we could pick his brains on what he has produced and shown us. And his name is Vic, and we really do appreciate.
He's a
the
regular
fact-
commenter on all of our podcasts, from what I
Yes.
understand. So and he's an aspiring comics artist, comics storyteller, and I've looked over his work, and several other people have as well. So we try to help him along. He's a very early in his learning curve.
Yes, but I'm going to make two very positive comments up front. Comments up front,
Yeah.
and that is, one, he has lots of heart.
Yeah.
And that is key. You got to have a lot of heart. So, because comics will kill you if you let them. So there's a lot of heart behind
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we got going, the other thing that I will praise Vic for doing is you're making pages, and that's important. You gotta make the pages. So a lot of people don't make the pages, and then so
I see. Over the years, I've seen a lot of submissions. People bring their portfolios up to me at conventions, and it's all pinups. I'm going, I can't tell you anything about storytelling or, drawing comic books because you haven't drawn a comic book for me.
Right.
You got to show me something that shows that you can do sequential art, because that's what comics are. If you just bring me pinups, I might be able to work an image, but not.
Yep. So all right.
Yeah, but anyway, yes, you got to have pages. Got to have some sequential art, storytelling. Yep.
So I'm gonna show off some of your thumbnailing here, which is showing.
Yeah, it's based on the PDF that he sent us of his work.
So this is based off of Vic's work, and these are some thumbnails. But we'll take a closer look at that in a minute. But let's take a look at some of his pages and see what we can kind of glean from them and talk it over here. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's the clip studio. Let's see. I think I need to zoom in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. All right. Are we zoomed in enough?
Yeah, that's there you go.
All right, so let's see. Let's go through some of these pages here. I'm going to jump to here, and let's go to his first page here. There we go. So we've got some sort of a werewolf thing going on. I've done some draw over on top, but we will get rid of all of that to start. All right, so this is, I've converted it to blue line. If you use Clip Studio, you have a wonderful tool which changes your art to blue line immediately, and you don't have to do it in blue line.
Nice. That's nice.
Ta-da!
Yeah, because he did it in regular old pencil, which is fine. That's But
all right.
Yep.
So here we have our first page that he has submitted to us, and it looks like there's some guy looking at a computer screen or something over here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a face.
Yeah, we don't have a script. We don't have the script.
We don't have a script for this particular page.
We don't know exactly what's going on, or at least I haven't seen a script for it. So I don't know.
I did ask him for some scripts. He did give me some scripts for some pages, but
very good.
Not this one. So it'll be interesting to read the scripts as well. All right, so this is interesting. Now, I was going to, I do want to make a comment to all you beginner artists out there. If you're starting your comics career and you want to get started, when you get these pages are very important because they tell you things. And you need to know, if you're going to print stuff, where does the page get cut? And if you look very, very closely here, this says trim right there. Let's see if I can grab a red pencil here and grab that. And we got to jump onto a layer. Trim. That's the trim. That's not a red pencil. That's because I put it into blue line. All right, let's try a new layer here. Oh, there we go. Trim.
Yeah.
All right, so this is your trim area. That's your trim, and that's on all four corners.
When the book gets put on the press, the pages that the pages are printed on are bigger than they will be when they're finally assembled and sent out to the shop. So they will trim the edges off, and it always trims off that little area there. It looks like about a quarter of an inch to me on 11 by 17. It's not far off of that, but that area right there, that gets trimmed off. Anything that you've drawn there, it's gone.
Yep,
it is gone.
So then there's this line here, which is called the live area, which comes to here.
Yeah. Right.
All right. So anything that's important, you want inside that box or inside of this.
Especially word balloons.
Yeah. So your word balloons need to go here.
Must be inside there. Yes.
because what happens is the knife can shift a little
when
bit
they're
this way or
all
that
those
way.
every time those pages go through the press, it will sometimes get off a little bit as it goes through, and it might trim off even more than it's supposed to.
Exactly.
So it might come over into that area. So they always give, and again, this looks like about a half inch to me, a little less than half an inch in from the
Yep.
trim line is where the live area starts.
Yep.
It's on the top, bottom, and each side. But that's
Might
just
that
to
be
make
about-
sure that nothing important accidentally gets trimmed off if the pages get skewed as they're going through the press.
Yep. So that's about 0.25, 0.125 maybe? Not sure.
125 would be about a quarter of an inch. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if we were to turn on the cropped off area, this is what you would end up seeing. And so if we were to look at the art here, and get rid of this extra red lines, you'd see that some important things have been cropped out a little bit here, such as, I will switch to blue so we can see it against the red. So here, down here, this elbow is getting chopped off and not sure what's happening with this hand.
Yeah, most of the arm's gone, yeah.
Yeah, so you want to kind of bring that in. And then you got a little bit of the face here chopped off up here on the top right. So you're losing your cheekbone and stuff. And if this face is important, you probably want to pull that in quite a fair amount.
Yeah, closer to the panel edge, probably.
Yep. Yeah. And then you also want to give yourself a little bit of room for that word balloon in here. So if you were to put a word balloon here, well, this guy's face gets covered up. So you need to kind of consider that as something to think about.
It's crazy the number of things you have to keep in mind when you're creating a page, but it's all important.
Yep. Very much so. All right. So that's the first page to take a look at. So one thing that's happening here, it is telling a story. We're not quite sure what story, but it is telling a story. So good on that. And that's excellent. So that's a very good start. All right, let's take a look at another page here. Now, if there's any page that you really wanted to talk about there, I'd be more than happy to jump to it. Just let me know. All right, so this was
we're doing fine so far, yeah.
All right, so this was a page for Champion, which is one of the characters of Silverline, and we have him breaking into a fire, I guess. Here he comes.
A conflagration of some sort, yes.
And he's busting in. So again, all right, so inside the blue area, that's your live area. That's where you want all your important stuff, your word balloons, etc., like that. Any information that's important. So if you notice, we're losing his foot down here, we're losing his elbow here on the right side.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, because they're in that that iffy area that might get cut off. Parts of it might get cut off.
All right. Then we got the city panel up front. So that's good. We have an establishing shot. That's kind of good. All right.
Yeah, except the horizon line is so close to to the live
correct.
line that
right.
Yeah, it kind of destroys it should be pulled down just a little bit, I think.
Yep, absolutely. So we need to bring that into the live area. And yeah. Do we want to do a quick draw over on this one, Rob?
Well,
or do we want to just keep looking at other pages?
I've got
All right.
I've got that page. Yeah, I've got the same page as you've got, yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at your thumb.
Yeah, that's
here.
this one. Yeah, that's this one here.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Can you bring that closer to the camera there?
Yeah, I will.
All right. So this is what Rob has come up with as his version. So you got the city line up there.
Yeah, I pulled it down a little bit. And then I've got a more dramatic pose for the character on the left. Now you still lose his right foot, but he's stepping out of. He can.
Right.
He's being being trimmed out.
Yep.
But I'm purposely doing it that way. But I'm showing that the arm that's on the right is coming more toward the viewer, so there's a little more motion in it. And
So
then
this is interesting. You actually stayed very close to his original layout.
I tried.
So,
I tried to where I could.
yeah. So
And
Vic, your storytelling idea for this page is pretty spot on. I mean,
it's not too far off. Yeah, he's pretty close. It just
So
needs certain things need to be adjusted a little bit here and there, but his actual storytelling isn't horrible. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. So that's great. That's very, very, very good. All right. So let's see. How do we get back to exit solo layout?
There we go.
There we go. Okay, we're back. All right. So if anyone
And
is
the one comment I want to make, and I have on most every page, is that he needs to work on anatomy quite a bit. Yeah, we're mostly talking about storytelling at this point, but he needs a lot of work on anatomy, and he and I have talked about that, and I've given him some resources to start working on that. But the character it looks very flat. There's no three-dimensionality to the character, and that's something you need to work on so that it feels like there's actually it's something there rather than just a cartoon, a flat thing. So
now I'm going to throw a caveat in here, which is very interesting because there was a young fellow that back quite some time ago that sent me some samples of his stuff, and his stuff ended up being quite flat. But he had this really weird technique that ended up coming out of it, which made his characters in a strange way pop off the page in a 3D fashion.
Yeah, I can see that.
It was the weirdest thing. I couldn't put my finger on what that was, and
I would love to see that.
I could see how he would never he would never kind of probably reach the idea of like something like a classic comic approach, but his pop art style was so strong. If he leaned into it, he would have had a absolutely phenomenal style.
Yeah, because
but he had to still
always
grow
looking
into
for
it.
new and interesting things, and if he's able to tell a story with it, it could work for him. It could work for him. So sometimes leaning into things like that are good. Yeah.
So it had early Tank Girl vibes, but it was even flatter than that. But it had something. So now, if he had sharpened it up a little bit, and now I'm pretty sure he did, because he ended up working for some gaming company, I believe, in the long run. Cool. But his stuff ended up having this really neat 3D pop look.
It had a different eye.
Yes,
it had a different eye.
And Vic's art kind of reminds me of that, but he would have to find how to lean into that. So
and a lot of anime or that kind of stuff is very cartoony, and the characters themselves are flat, but they have some. Yeah, it's hard for me to completely describe it. If you head that direction, that's good. But he needs to at least feel some dimensionality in the characters, and he hasn't quite reached that point yet. It's a wall he'll break through once as he keeps practicing. That wall will finally fall down for him, but he's not quite there yet.
Yep. So one of the things to help with the dimensionality is to add perspective lines. If you can get some perspective lines in there. If you could look closely, you might see the grid that's back here. Very loosely, very light. And this is a tool in Clip Studio where you can drop in a 3D perspective grid. And then if you click this little button up here, then when you draw your lines, they all end up going to the perspective ruler. So, yeah.
That's nice. It's a nice little tool.
Yeah.
Whereas I do it old style with an actual ruler.
And do your perspective lines end up like 10 miles off the page?
Yeah, I actually have pieces of when I cut my own paper, there would always be trimmed pieces left. So I would put those on the side of the page and run the perspective line off over here. I tape it so it's in place, and then
So I'm
see a
just
little
going to
better
show
that
you
way.
guys here.
Yeah.
This is how the perspective
yeah.
tool works. So you
Yeah,
get
there
your
you go.
perspective
That's
lines.
nice. That's very
Right?
nice.
So
Yeah, if I
this
worked digitally, I would use the heck out of that.
Yeah, this is a great little tool. Now, there's a really, really fascinating tool in this program here called Krita, which is called the Perspective Guide. This thing is cool. So if you guys want to get into comics and digital, and you need a free program, and you don't want to pay for Clip, and you don't want to pay for Krita is your tool of choice. Well, you grab this little thing called the Assistant here, and you set it into a perspective mode. And when you draw on the canvas, you get your little perspective guide here. And then you can do this, and you have set up a perspective grid of some sort. And then if you want to match there's these little X's over here, and if you want to match the perspective correctly, you can match the X to where they belong. And they all kind of end up meeting in the same spot. But if you want a more dynamic thing, you can mess around with that a little bit and draw your stuff. So that's just a little tidbit for everybody if you wanted to mess around with perspective.
Yeah, I think there's some 3D stuff in Photoshop too, which I have never investigated, which will do some of the same stuff, but it's a little more arcane in how to work it. So yeah, apparently this looks very, very easy and intuitive how it works.
All right, so this page is a little quieter.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, if he had used some perspective in that last panel, the bottom panel, you would be pulled into the scene, or the character would come to the front. You know, if you used perspective in some fashion or another, it would just make him come forward or give him some dimensionality. Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, and that's you know, Vic is young. I don't know how much perspective practice he's had in class yet. Hopefully his teacher will help him along with that stuff. My wife was a teacher, and she had a whole session where they just did perspective stuff. And I remember that from back when I was in school. We had, you draw the boxes in the checked ground, and you make everything fit to the perspective. Well, 1 point, 2 point, there's different types of perspective. There's some other little tricks that I learned later on to make sure that things as they move back in the perspective stay the same relative size, the same aspect. Which there's several tricks to that, and I may demonstrate it sometime now that I've got a way to do that. That's how that works.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right, so again, you got to watch that trim. Watch the trim. Get your stuff inside the live area so that it doesn't get cut out. You got to watch out for this kind of stuff where the hands are getting cut off. Now the thing is, once you know where the cutoff point is on your page, you can use that to your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You can, end up using it to like, okay, I'm going to chop off this guy's body here so that I don't have to draw everything. And that's a little trick that we employ as artists.
You gotta, exactly.
so use it.
That brings up a point that I learned from editors. They would notice that especially hands are very hard to draw. And this one editor, he would always, the first thing he would look at is how people drew hands on their submissions. And he goes, the guys that didn't do hands very well, they always had them off the side of the panel, or hidden behind their back, or they didn't show feet because they couldn't draw feet. So learn how to draw those things, because you'll need to draw them. So learn how.
Yeah, there's a certain big name artist who was always criticized for not drawing feet properly, and he would hide them behind rocks or trees or who knows what.
And ankles and wrists. Yeah. He didn't know exactly how to draw those. So all of the characters' costumes had some big thing at the wrist, so you didn't have to draw how the connection worked. So I think some people know who we're talking about.
Yeah. Yep. All right, here's another page which is more action oriented. which is good. So we got storytelling happening again, which is great. Awesome. We can kind of get the idea of what's going on here, but we need some clarifications here.
Needs a little help.
Yeah. So again, need to watch that trim line. Watch the trim line up here. And first things first. So this is the commentary that I was going to have on this page is, where are we, Vic? Where are we? I mean, we've got this post here, and I'm assuming that's a parking garage, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I couldn't figure out where this was happening either, so I don't know.
So when you give us something, you need to give your readers an establishing shot. Now, if there was an establishing shot on the page before, that's fine. That's great. But if this was the first time the reader hit this page, we need to know where we are. We need to know what's going on. Where are we? What are we standing in? Where are we being thrown around in? What is this space? So yeah. Now this is great. Like good acting here. This guy got hurt. You can tell that did he break his neck? Maybe, who knows? But he's hurting. We can feel that. That's awesome body posture there. Now, again, anatomy could be a little bit adjusted, but hey, good storytelling. All right, but now this sequence here, not sure exactly how this interrelates to each other. Where's this guy coming from? Yeah. So we might want to think about that. Now this bottom panel, okay, we got a fight sequence happening, but we kind of lost the.
Yeah, what's going on there? Yeah,
lost somebody's head. Not exactly sure, but again, you're making pages. And that's important.
Well, and this is the one page where in my thumbnails I changed a few things.
Okay. So let's pull that up then. So, all right. Let's take a look. Solo layout. All right. Okay. So, okay. We've got a tackle at the top. Or no, he's flying.
He's flying through the air and hitting something.
Yep.
And then he's getting up and rubbing the back of his head.
Yep.
And then the wolf creature is yelling at him, yelling something at him.
Oh, okay. I thought that was two eyes, but okay, I see it now. Yeah, this is his mouth.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then in the last two panels, it looked to me like he was having the character jump over the other character. So I made those last two panels into one panel with two actions in it.
Yep.
With him jumping over the back of the wolf creature.
So this is a very important point. One action per panel. I was given a comic script once which had like 3 or 4 actions in a panel, and I was like, how on earth do I draw this? You have to break it out. And then you ended up with a comic that had like dozens of panels on the page. Well, not really, but I had to figure out how to either compact panels or how to spread it out, because you can't have more than one action unless you're George Perez. Then you're in a different world.
There is a dividing line down through the middle, so it's actually it is 2 panels, but it's the same scene, and he's from here jumping over the character here. So it's one panel cut in 2 for 2 different actions.
Exactly. So now everyone, notice how clean and simple everything is here. Everything is so clean, simple, and easy to read. You need to make your shapes nice and big and readable, so you know exactly who's who and what's what.
Now, and of course, if I was going to draw this, I don't know what the script is, so I might have to make these characters a little smaller to leave room for word balloons or captions or whatever. Like when the wolf creature is screaming in that one panel. You know, if he says 1 or 2 things, that's plenty of room. If he's saying more than that, you need to pull back a little bit more to give more room for the word balloon. So these are guidelines, not rules, when you do a thumbnail like this.
Oh, okay. I have the script here actually for this page. Panel 1, Kappa flying into the parking garage post. Oh poop, crack. I'm making that polite. Panel 2, Kappa standing back up. Right. Panel 3, the Onekuma. I guess that's the wolf creature. The Onekuma running at the reader. Oh, okay. So he's supposed to be running at the reader. Okay. I kind of like your interpretation of yelling at him. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, okay.
Panel 4, Kappa jumping off the wall. All right. Well,
I'm not too far off. I didn't know he was jumping off the wall. Okay.
yeah.
So what is he? Yeah, I guess he jumps up on the wall and bounces off of it. Yeah. Okay.
So if we were to do that, I'm going to let's pull up a new roster layer. Oops. Oh, let's move that up here, and let's take this. Where are we here? Is this the art? Let's make that blue. All right, here we go. Okay. So if he's going to be jumping off the wall, we want to do probably something along the lines of get him here. Then you got to plant his leg on the wall. Now I've drawn that too big, but you got to put his leg on the wall, and then you got to kind of bring him off, kind of something like this. And he's coming. Something like that, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
Let's move him over a little bit here.
Well, you
So
still
we-
got it on my thumbnails. You might want to.
Oh,
pull
I'm
it over
sorry.
you.
Oh.
I'm doing
okay.
something similar to what you're talking about. I've got him. Like the panel border is the wall here. Yeah. Or he
All right.
could be
Oh.
springing off the wall.
All right. Here we go. All right, so here, I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to do a slight adjustment. And here, bring his leg down there. All right, enter, brush. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Let's see here.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
see
yeah,
what you're
so.
doing. Yeah,
So
he's kind of 3/4 into the. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
now you got the wall here, and then you're gonna kind of like show that he's
Right.
leaping off the wall, right?
Yeah.
And then you gotta make it dynamic. Come on, push it. Gotta push the guy into you.
Foreshortening. Yep.
Yeah. All right. And then what did I say? Did I read the last panel? What did the last panel
he's
say?
jumping over him. I thought, but what's this?
Hang on.
What's the script say?
Jumping off the wall. Panel 5. Kappa flying over Onekuma. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to try harder than that. All right. So you were right. He was hopping over him. All right. So then you kind of. Well, if you're going across the page this way, then you're going to want the character to kind of keep going.
Keep that motion going. That's why I did it the way I did it, is
Yep.
so that he would.
And maybe this
so the
guy
motion
here,
would go.
he's like,
Yeah.
"Rawr."
Yeah.
Now this is very scribbly. I do apologize, but hopefully it gets the point across. And he's kind of probably over here like this.
Yeah.
So now let's dial this back a little bit so we can see maybe what my very rough pencils are
I
doing.
like that too. Yeah.
So
You're coming. Yeah, I was going across the page, and you're coming out of the page and toward the viewer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
So we can have him come jumping over like this, and then in comics world, break the rules, right? This guy's neck can be like kind of broken, and have him looking over his shoulder back at this guy, say, "Hey, yeah, you got to do better than that, right?" So there we go. Yeah. So dynamics. So push the envelope. Push. All right. Cool. Good. All right.
Yeah, that's
Now-
probably the weakest storytelling that he's got in the pages that we've looked at so far. Is that because what things weren't clear on that page?
Yes.
But again, like you say, at least he's making pages.
Yes. 100%.
Keep making pages.
Yep. Please. All right. Now this one was an interesting one. And yeah, again, where are we? Where are we, Vic?
Mm-hmm.
You got to tell us where we are. Show us where we are. What's like, are we in a desert? Are we in a jungle? Are we in somebody's house? I think this is a tree back here. Now he has this interesting little thing here, these flying skulls with flames. That's kind of neat. That's a little interesting.
Which I didn't see those when I was looking at that. That's a good eye.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what that was, but once I looked at it, it was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
It looks like she's getting hypnotized here. Good storytelling. That's a good storytelling beat right there.
Skulls in the eyes, yeah.
That's really good storytelling beat. And then we got the, well, it looks like she's being hypnotized and her hand is going to reach to his. So I did some draw over on this one. And I think you have a thumbnail on that one too.
I do, yeah. Yeah,
So
I was
let's
looking to see which one it
okay.
was, but yeah.
So first thing I did
some
was
perspective,
I threw in some perspective to get some shape. And then let's see here, what else we got? More perspective, but that might be just messing stuff up. Okay, that was a very rough start drawing there. And then here, okay, we start positioning stuff a little bit. Okay, still not quite where we want it to be. We need to kind of still push the envelope, and it's not clear. Okay, we got the bottom part down here. Let's change the color of his page to the blues so that they aren't clashing. Where is his? Here we go. Here we go. And then, okay, so now if he was big, and now we have a little bit more dynamics again. Now there's one thing here that's very interesting that I picked up on from Alex Toth. Would you happen to know what I might be referencing here, Rob?
Not exactly, no.
Why is the character back facing us? Is there a way to make this character maybe tilt? So that's one thing that we always have to take into consideration is how are your characters acting? Acting is always key, and your characters always need to be doing something. So is there a way to make that character, this girl character, maybe face us? Now, if you took any acting classes, you may have learned this technique where people stand facing each other kind of in a 3/4 fashion.
Right, yep.
In order to project out to the audience, but they still end up so here we go.
Somewhat looking at each other, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe this girl is standing like this here. And so now we can see her front. And she's kind of, maybe now we get stick her umbrella here. And we get her face in here and get the hair in there. And, all right. So we still kind of get the same idea. And maybe, well, she's trying to protect herself maybe. So maybe this arm kind of comes across here like this. And she puts her hand up to kind of block him a little bit. But she gets seduced in this panel here with the skulls and stuff. And then she offers her hand. Now, I don't know how clear that is. That's really rough stuff. But merely suggestions. So how did you solve that problem there, Rob?
Well, I didn't go for the Alex Toth thing of turning the character. What I did was I brought the more menacing character closer.
Yep.
And
there we
put her
go
in the background.
There we go. That's the way to do it. Yeah. So are you seeing her from behind or from in front?
From behind.
Oh,
you can turn her around if you want. Either way. But I didn't know what the script called for.
Right.
That maybe she had her back to the character. So,
Right.
but I have him 3/4 toward you.
Yes.
And then in the second panel, which I moved up from the bottom to the right over the back of her to give him more room to take up that whole third on the left side of the page.
Right.
And then they start to touch in that last panel. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know without having the script. I didn't know what, were they conversing? Was she trying to protect herself like that? She could turn her head, to the side like this
Mm-hmm.
and look back.
Yeah, he sent me script for 4 pages, and unfortunately, I do not have the script for that one.
Not that you don't have that one, huh? Yeah, but
oh wait, no, maybe I do. No. Maybe? Panel 1 is Izanami greeting the Spectre Scarab meeting in AIM. You failed to avenge yourself, Dan. Izanami looking disappointed. You remain tethered to the earth. I can do nothing but wish you luck on your journey back. Izanami's hand, this is panel 3, Izanami's hand on the right with a white background letting go, and Spirit Scarab's hand, Scarab, and on the left reaching for it. I guess this is it. It's going to be a long afterlife. Okay.
That sounds like it, yeah.
All right, this is rather melancholy, and or I was thinking it was much more dramatic.
Well, it's never bad to make give a little more drama to a scene than maybe it calls for. But yeah, I didn't change any angles, no up or down. And that's another thing that I've noticed in a lot of Vic's work is he's still shooting everything from the same camera angle. It's straight on. There's a lot of that going on. So that's what I talked to him a lot about, figuring out how to make the camera give a scene more drama.
Exactly. So even if it's a simple scene like this, give it drama. It's comics. It's comics. All right. How about we jump a little bit? Was there any particular page that you wanted to kind of address more than others?
Well, there's this page here. I don't know which one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe. This one here, I changed that one quite a bit as well.
Is that the one with the actor?
Somebody sitting on a box in the bottom panel.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we can do here. Exit solo layout, and here we go. All right, and is that? Oh, this one here. Here we go.
Yeah,
this one. All right. Okay, yeah. So this is a very simple and quiet scene from the looks of things. So how do you push the envelope? So that is a great question. I did not touch this one at all. So let's take a look at your thumbnails again. So let's take a quick look. Okay, here's okay, we're starting to work inside the trim lines. That's good. We have an establishing shot. Excellent. We know we're in a living room of some sort or a den. There's great details here with like a mask. Is that the Black Panther mask? So we've got some good stuff happening here. This is great. So let's see. So we got detail over here. We got an establishing shot here. That's awesome. Now we've got some drama here with the man's face here, but his face got covered up by this. So now we lose a little bit of the impact. So we can kind of get what you're going for there, but maybe if you were to move this guy's head over just a little bit, and then we got this girl come in, and he sits down on a box. So we've got decent storytelling on this page. We've got details. We've got establishing shot. So one thing to do, to help, possibly, let's see if I can get rid of all this stuff, is you can draw the motion of the page. Where do you want to lead people's eyes?
Exactly.
So some artists like to do this kind of thing,
Mhm.
right? Where they draw like, okay, I want that, or I want this, and then they draw everything into that kind of, loosely into this. Where are they going to lead the eye? So sometimes you can do this, bring back to here. How do we lead back into this, and then lead out off the page? So that's something to keep in mind. So that's kind of happening here.
And that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at yours there. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Nice.
So you notice
cut the
I give some perspective.
exactly.
So it starts lower left, pulls you up to her. She's kind of looking back. Then we go to that second panel, and rather than have him looking that way, I have him looking this way to draw your eye this way. And then having her look at, having the camera shooting up at her will give you a little bit of this direction. So we go to this character and then back to her again. So you've got that Z action going in that
Bingo.
in that page, which is, and you've still got room for all the details that you can put in the back here, but you've got some perspective to give it depth, and you've still got him coming in the room, but it brings you up, brings you across the page, back down, and you get the Z motion going on.
Right. So my only suggestion to make that maybe just a little more dramatic would be in the last panel, making the girl's head like bigger.
Yeah. I mean, I've got it pretty big here.
And maybe put her eye line with his. Like
yes. Yeah. Like, yeah, we'll do that. We'll just do it. Eraser.
So we are seeing a live editing, folks. This is what we do. Now, here's an interesting question for you, Rob. Back in the day, now you mentioned did you ever get edits requested from your editors? You never did.
No, I was lucky in that respect. I guess I got it pretty well to start with.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now the other question is, did they ever have time to have edits?
They
done?
may not have. I mean, I was always on. I met my deadlines, so it wasn't like. And there's always a little time built in.
Yeah.
On deadlines.
And how far in advance would there we go. So it just kind of distinguishes that her head is a little bit bigger there compared to the panel above. So it's
but so you want the panel line to go here.
Yeah. Bingo.
Yeah, and then,
now we got some punch. Look at that.
And there's something going on back here. He drew some stuff back here, so I wanted that still in the scene.
Right.
So I don't know what this is here, but it's probably important. So and his anatomy is off, of course, on this guy that's sitting on the but that's something we all know he needs to work on yet.
Yes.
But at least he's at least trying to tell a story with what's going on in that panel. But yeah, you're right that making this, because her head was about the same size as the one previous. This distinguishes it from the other one in the And I probably would have done that when I actually did the page, because when I start laying out the page, I go, that doesn't quite work. Let me move this around and make this is bigger, this is smaller. But yeah, as I said, thumbnails are guidelines. They're not the rules that you absolutely have to follow. Now, occasionally you'll capture it so well that I've actually had to put it on to blow it up in my in Photoshop and then lightbox it, because it's worked so perfectly and I can't capture it again. So I have to do that. But
hey Brent, welcome to the club. How's it going?
It's going all right.
Yeah. So we're just going
we're tearing up Vic's work.
Oh, okay.
No, we're actually finding some good things here. So
yeah. So
work in your Apple Music library. You can ask me.
Siri answered me.
Yeah. So the one thing, the two very commendable things for Vic is, one, he's got lots of heart, and 2, he has been drawing pages, which are very important. So this is
as we mentioned, I see a lot of people who want to be comic book artists don't understand they have to do sequential storytelling. They just bring in pinups. They think they can just, if they just draw the character and then that's enough. But you got to be able to tell them doing something. You got to have them in motion. You got to be able to tell a story on a page.
Yep. So yeah.
Nice.
All right. So Vic, you are on your way. So all right, I wanted to take a look at his car scene. Because that's an interesting, and I also want to take a look at this particular page, but we'll come back to that one. This one is very interesting. The script is very interesting, and I think there's a lot that can be done with this page, and so we will come back to that. So yeah.
I don't think I did that page. Yeah, I didn't do anything for that page.
I did a couple of little things here and there, but I think we can do it. We'll do it by flying by the seat of our pants. All right, so here's an interesting scenario. And we're going to compare and contrast this with a page that you did in Twilight Grim there, Rob, which is a book for Silverline, everybody. So go look it up. Great book. I actually just reread it just before we started this evening, and I was like, okay, there's action, there's drama, there's romance. It's got everything all packed into like 22 pages all at once, and romance on multiple levels.
Yeah, he's got a love quadrangle going on.
So that was. So it's a little bit, it's funny and it's cheeky and it's got some interesting stuff going on. So that's kind of neat. All right, so here we got the car scene. I'm going to read the script and then we'll make a couple comments about that. And then, all right, page 5. It says, the man opening his briefcase, revealing the bearskin thing. Okay.
Okay.
Better not be screwing with us or it'll be your head, Vin. Panel 2. Vinny laughing, pulling his door kappa in the background. Oh, wait. This might be... No, this is the wrong one.
No, that's a different page.
I've got the wrong script. Hang on. Something about a car. Where's the car?
Yeah.
There's got to be a car
here somewhere. He's getting
out
of a car from what it looks like.
Yeah. The man opening the briefcase. No, there's a briefcase. The man putting the... No, that can't be it. I do apologize, folks. I did have it. I did have his script for this page.
Page 4? Number 4 up in the upper right-hand corner. That's another thing. When you're doing this, make sure you put all this information on that top line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that it can, if your storytelling isn't perfectly clear, you can at least still get the
there it is.
Get the letter
Page 4,
page.
correct. All right. Panel 1.
Okay.
Panel 1, a man stepping out of a car. Okay. So let's take a look. Yep, we got a man stepping out of a car. Sure. All right. And then the man knocking on the van next to him. Ayo, Vinny, open up. We got your money for the bearskin. Vinny opening the van door. I see Bishop is finally taking me up on the offer. Let me snatch it from the back. Kappa stood on the car garage. I've got to figure out how to get down there without them noticing. That's panel 4. Panel 5. The man and Vinny handing each other briefcases. Okay. All right. Question number 1. What type of car? You got to tell us what type of car we're looking at so we know what to draw. Where are we again?
Yeah.
We need to know where we are. The fellow's knocking on a van, but I don't see a van. I see a hand hitting
You
something.
just see, yeah, it's not even a window necessarily. Yeah.
Now, this face here, this is a great face. Like that's what great expression. This is awesome. Like seriously, this is just super cool. Great face.
It's not that far off. It's close.
So I mean,
there's some three-dimensionality to that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting some dimension. So if we can get the head in there. Now here's a trick. I learned this from a guy named Ethan Becker, and it's called the mask. You draw the mask on a face like this, all right? Something like this, all right? And you get this shape, all right? You can almost place everything where you need it, no matter what angle you're at. And then that shape also repeats into the mouth, and it repeats into the hair, like it's everywhere. So if you understand that shape, you can end up, okay, so here we go. Here's the mask. I'm going to draw the line across. All right. And then we're going to draw this. And here we go. You got your face. All right. Ta-da. Poof. So if you learn this shape, people, you will learn how to draw faces really quick. And animators will love you for it because, or animation companies will love you for it because it'll help you come up with really simple face shapes really quickly. Anyways, that's just a tip. But okay, here we got the Kappa standing on a roof according to the script. We really got to watch this here. Not 100% sure what's going. Like that's a billboard, obviously behind.
He's got his leg pulled up and
yeah. So we got some perspective issues happening.
Yeah.
You got to distinguish like looks like he's sitting on this billboard, and this billboard is like super tiny, and he's super huge. So yeah, and then this is running into here, so that's a little confusing. And then you got these two guys exchanging something. Okay. Well, let's take a look at how a master does this. All right. Let's take a look. All right. So here is an action page from Twilight Grim. And we got some. So this is similar in the sense that we got cars and action. But it's not quite similar in the sense that it's exactly the same kind of thing. But we've got great establishing shot. We know we're on the road. We got city in the background. We can see that there's a clear line of action going through the page. And we got depth. So, and we've got cars that are based on something. So here we go. So you did the Z thing again on this page.
Absolutely.
So we come across here, come here, and we come here, come across here. All right, and then these somebody the person with the text brings it back, and then we come across again. So actually, kind of like that. Excellent. All right. All right. So let's go take a look at. Oh, we will take a look at one other page that you did, because it kind of speaks to this kind of thing. So here we got a down shot of the city. So another establishing shot. So maybe we should see Kappa standing up above looking down at the guys, and then he can see the whole scenario play out in front of him from the top shot down.
Yeah, maybe he should be in that very first frame.
Yep. So that might be something like, Where are we here? All right. So we are going to totally take something like this. So we got Kappa. Please tell me if it's too small on the screen, and I'll try and fix that. All right, here we go. So what if Kappa was here, standing when we're looking over his shoulder, and he's watching, and we got the city. There's some sort of down shot, and we got this. Whoops. I'm not sure what I did there. I do apologize. And then we got some sort of sidewalk thing here. And then we got the car. And, you know, go look up some reference. Go get yourself a Mustang or something. Get fancy cars. It's comics. The more exciting the car, the better. All right, and then we get this car door open, and there's a van supposed to be in this scenario, so maybe the van is here because he's got to go bang on the window. All right. Now this is really, really rough stuff. And so now we got this guy come out here, and then you got the you're gonna have the shot of the van here, and the guy banging on the door, and then not sure what the, I guess we get the guy's face here, and we go back up to Kappa somehow, looking down, do an upshot of his nose, make it dramatic, and he's kind of watching, how do I get down there? And then maybe we can put the billboard back here behind his head. And then these guys, then we do a down shot again, and you can see the guys doing the exchange. I don't know, is this clear? Is this clear enough? Is this making sense? Any comments there, Rob?
Yeah, I'm kind of doing my own thing over here, similar to what you're talking about.
Hey guys, I'm actually I have to pop back out again.
Hey, no problem, Brett.
Sure, everyone knows about the Kickstarter going on for.
Oh yes, so everybody,
thanks for mentioning
and
that.
Kalis has landed. I think it's done in 4 more days. So get on over there. We are getting pretty darn close to the mark. So if you're on the fence, now's the time to get off that fence.
Yeah. It's because it'll be over before you know it.
Yeah,
it comes quick.
It does indeed. With that, adios.
Thank you so much for popping in,
Good to
Brett.
see you, Brent.
My pleasure.
I'm excited to see what happens next in Kalis, because it's a great story.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Later.
All right. Let's see what Rob has done. Let's take a quick look.
Yeah,
And
this
then
last panel's not as clear as I would like. I'd probably mess with this some more, but so we start. Where are we here? Yeah. Start with an overhead shot and show the character it coming this way. You know, you've got everything. You've got kind of buildings in the background over here. You get the van. You get the car. You got a guy getting out of the car right there. But you've got the hero, which you're going to show down here. He's up here in the very establishing shot. So you know he's looking down on them somehow. So you know that kind of tells you he's on top of a building. And then in the next one, we show the van window, the handle, the door, and the mirror, so that you know it's the van. And here's the hand knocking on the window. And then you make this look like the window's going down.
There you go.
And the guy's looking in the window. into the van. And you cut back to the hero on the building up here on top, and you're doing an upshot so that you see he's looking down at them again. And then we have a shot here, and this one I'd probably work on a little bit more. But they're handing each other the briefcases here.
Yeah, so I would do a top
and you get
shot
the van, you got to put the van in the background, and you know, so you still have established where they are.
Yeah,
but that's how I would do that particular scene.
Yeah,
at least in the thumbnails. And again, when it got to the page, I might mess with it some more.
Right,
but that's what.
But at least you get the story down.
Yeah, I get it down. I've got the elements are all there, and again, I'm because of that cut between where the character is. If you can establish where he is in your establishing shot, even though it's not mentioned in the script, if you can establish that, then you don't have to work. You can pull in closer on him to show his emotions a little bit better in this panel where you're showing him looking down on the scene. But yeah,
bingo. All right, so you up for one more page there, Rob, or?
Let's see what we got.
All right.
We're a little after the hour, so
yeah. So we'll go overtime just a little bit.
Yeah, you pulled in a lot closer. I wasn't watching what you were doing.
Oh, sorry.
Nice.
Yeah. So here was the establishing shot.
Yeah, we have some of the same things going on, though. Yes.
And then I did for here I did a top shot down.
Which like I said, I don't know how clear that last panel was.
Yeah,
but it would be clearer probably
very
doing it that
very
way.
rough.
But I get what you're the hero's looking down on them, so you're looking up at the hero and then down at them. So you've got that up down thing going on. Yep.
So boom boom. Yeah. So. All right. So
that would actually work better than what I did on that last panel. Much better.
I think your layout for the other pages is much better though. So all right. So my last panel and your other 4 panels, and we got a great page. All right. All right. Let's go back to this one page here, which is really this one fascinating.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
have no idea what's going on that page.
Bingo. So, but it's fascinating as all get out. So
there's a lot of stuff going on, but without the script, I have no idea what it's all about.
So we do have a script for this one. So let's read it and see how well this translated. All right. So page 1, it starts with an illustrated title card, which is at the top of the page. Panel 1, a young Akoni sat in a yard with a ghostly figure behind him. And the narration box says, Duppy always been attracted to me. Now, I looked up what Duppy are, and apparently they're ghostly beings that follow people around, particularly in the Caribbean. Now, they might be other places in the world, but as far as I understand, it was the Caribbean. Panel 2, the young Akoni with a bird-like spirit. Narration box, let it be good. Panel 3, young Akoni walking in the street at night, or bad. Panel 4, a puff of air leaving the rolling calf's skull's nose. I don't know what that means, but okay, let's take a look. All right, so we have a title card.
Is that the right page?
This is the right page.
Okay.
So yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. So we got the title card. We've got a spirit thingy. Okay. Behind him. Then we got the spirit bird here.
Okay.
All right. And then we got him walking on the street. And then we got a rolling bull. Okay. So again, first question is, where are we? Where are we?
Yeah, that's
Vic. You got to tell us where we are. We don't know where we are. We need an establishing place. Like, are we in the Caribbean or is this like Pakistan? I can't tell if this guy wearing a turban. I don't know if he's wearing a turban. I think he's wearing a turban.
Yeah, it looks like a turban, especially that second panel.
Yeah. Okay, so is he wearing a turban? And okay, now this is young Oconee, and then I guess this is when he's older. So, all right. So we got some very interesting stuff happening here. All right. So for your title card, you need to distinguish clothing from the body, because we can't tell what's going on with his arm. I don't know if that's his arm or if that's his clothes or if that's clothes on his arm. So that needs to be kind of established. And then where are we? Where's he sitting? He's sitting.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem here is it's not described in the script where it is.
Yep.
Is it?
So
Yeah.
no. So yeah, so the script needs to give more details, especially if you're going to give a script to an artist. Even for yourself, if you come back to this later and you read it and you're like, I have no idea what I wrote, you need to know what you wrote. So the way I was thinking that this should be broken down is you could end up having your title card. Now I'm going to be very rough. Now, like, what is he doing here in this top panel? Like, what is this character doing? He has to be doing something. Is he running away from something? Is he looking over his shoulder? Is he what is he doing? Why does he exist? So you got to give him. Your actors have to act. So, all right. So maybe he's sneaking off from somewhere because he's scared. So, all right. So let's give him some sort of action. Now I'm going to be very rough here. I will not put in any details because we're kind of running out of time, folks. But here we go. So now we got him doing something. He's kind of looking over his shoulder because he's scared of these duppy things. You put your title here, and then you got your flames. Don't forget your crop marks. If you're going to do something important, don't do anything there. Okay, now you've got all this spirit stuff going on. So this is where you can do something very interesting because you got this kind of weird spiritual stuff going on. You can maybe get away with more of a hippy dippy kind of page where you don't have a whole lot of background stuff going on. You just kind of do like some sort of a floating. Here you got this apparition here, kind of floating over here, and then because we're kind of doing a throwback like to his history, then you can put. Now, what is this technique called where you show the character multiple times in the same frame? Do you remember what that's called there, Rob?
No, at different stages in their life. Vignettes. You're showing a vignette for kind of a collage.
So I thought there was a specific comic term for this.
Yeah, there may be, but I can't think of what it would be at the moment.
So here he goes, and you stick his hand up here, and you got this bird thing coming down. And this is a spiritual thing too, right? So let's give his hand here. Now, this is really, really rough stuff, folks, but all right. So
are you talking floating heads? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
where you have a bunch of heads on a
yeah.
So do that a lot.
And then you can have like all sorts of smoke and stuff here. So this page you establish the notion that he has this stuff going on, this like weird spiritual whatever these duppy things are going on. So here you have the title card. So this can be the seed. This could be the planted seed where he's looking over his shoulder, right? He's kind of like freaking out over something. So he's kind of like what's going on? He's freaking out because this was his opening panel.
So the actual only real panel is the top one,
right?
With the title card in it, and the
right.
rest of it is kind of a collage of different things from the other 4 panels.
This is all backstory. All right, so then
Right.
what happens? So we've got this panel down here where he's walking on the street, right? So what this can do is, so now what we would do is we would then add a new page, break this out into a different page. So I'm going to add a new page. Next page. All right. No. Cancel. I want to add a new page. Add page. There we go. That's what we want. All right. So we had that. We had all that stuff going on, and he was looking over his shoulder. And now we can go back to. Now we can go back to him. Kind of get some perspective happening, right? So we can get some dynamics going on, and he's still kind of freaking out. Now he's kind of maybe he's looking this way, or over his shoulder back this way, because he doesn't know what's going on, and stick his arm out here. Let's just make stuff really big and bold so we can kind of see what's going on. So here, all right. So now and then we got some sort of cityscape going on back here with some shops. All right. And then we have this big giant spiritual bull thing come up behind him. But you got to show the bull. You got to show this thing so we know what it is. Otherwise, we have no idea what we're looking at. And then he's got snorting his thing. And now the placement of this could be adjusted. And of course, we give him like the big eyes and the freak out, whatever. And if you did that, you would make me want to turn that page. Any thoughts there, Rob?
I think you're on the right track here. You're taking part of it going on in a different page?
Yeah.
Okay.
So so the last two panels.
Add a page. Yeah, you'd add a page.
Yeah. So the last 2 panels, I would break that out into a new page after establishing the fact that.
Yeah.
So after establishing the fact that he has all this hoodoo voodoo stuff going on, right? And then leading off into the or you could bring the fact that he's running away from something back into the bottom corner here. Again, leading into the next page, and then the following page could be just the bull, the giant splash page of the bull thing behind him, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a splash page, that would work really well. Yeah,
that would be.
If you had room to add a page, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you could then run your story into your bull in the china shop. All right. Well, so we could do something like this would be like, I would want to know what happens next.
Mm-hmm. And that's, you get somebody to turn the page. You give them a cliffhanger. Every right-hand page should have a cliffhanger.
Yep.
Of some sort. Visual or text-wise.
Yep.
So, I'm thinking, I like your whole vignette thing you had going on. Maybe that's the word for it. Of all these little little things happening. So I did something similar to that, but I'd have to see I'd have to hear the whole script again.
Yep.
But yeah, and then I have him walking off outside the safe line. So and then the bull behind him.
Oh, there we go. That's a great bull.
Like that.
And you did that so fast. Can you move it up just a little bit into the camera?
Yeah.
And
like
to the left.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now that I can
there
see it. But see, you got all this stuff going on here, the bird and
Yeah.
I'd have to work on that some more. I'd have to see the script a little bit better. But you've got all this stuff going on over here, and then he's walking off with the bull behind him like that.
Yeah. And then the page behind that, or the page after that, could be the big snort, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's freaking out.
Yep.
All right. Well,
so there's different ways to do it.
So we're so sorry we didn't see you, Vic. Would have been nice to have you on. Hopefully you do see this later. This was highly informative for myself.
Later. Yeah.
This was highly informative for myself. I hope it was informative for you, Rob, and hopefully it was informative for somebody who watches. So watch your trim lines. Put all your important stuff inside the live areas. Use some perspective. Use dynamics. Push your characters. And make them act. And always push. If they're standing still or sitting at a computer screen or something, well, make them really sit at a computer screen.
Try and find a dramatic angle to shoot it from.
Yeah, make them lean into it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Use foreshortening. Use perspective. Use lighting for that matter. We didn't even get into that.
That's right.
We can get into that. We can get into that later, but because that can be an important effect too. Because there's several times where he blacks out a character. He uses silhouette instead of a full character, and then that can be very effective if it's used properly. But yeah, you might want to get us back. Or you're still focused on my thumbs here for the full picture. Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Establishing shot. Give us establishing shots. Always important. And then if you're writing your scripts, give yourself details, both for yourself and for your potential artist. And that way they can go and pull up the reference that they need. So if you're saying he got out of a car, what kind of car is he coming out of? Where are they? Are they in the city, in an alley?
And if it's not specified in the script, figure one out and base your car on one that you like or that you think fits in the scene. But yeah.
So yeah. So if you now you don't have to do like an Alan Moore script where he described every little nitpicky detail, but you got to give your artist something to work with, or yourself something to work with, or otherwise, you're guessing.
And definitely read over the entire script before you get started.
Yep.
Read it through once. There's how I use it. I read it through once, and then I read it through the second time, and that's when I do the thumbnails for each page. And that way, if there's some visual. If you're trying to set something up visually that happened later in the book, it's called Chekhov's gun. If you show it in the first, you need to show it in the first act if you're going to use it in the third or fourth. So it needs to be there somewhere. So some foreshadowing of what's going to possibly happen, and you can only do that if you really understand the whole story. So so you can kind of foreshadow things like that. But read the whole story through first.
Yeah,
and then if you need to, you're working with the writer, giving it more life. You're trying to give it more life. If he doesn't give you enough, you got to figure it out yourself and put your own in there.
Yep.
So writers out there, give the artist enough to work with, but also give them enough room to stretch their abilities a little bit. But again, we need to know where it's happening, who, what, when, where, and why.
Bingo.
It's the old journalism thing. You need all of that in order to get the story told. But okay, we've
gone over.
We should mention that Kickstarter again.
Yep.
It's still out there. It's only got a few more days left. Head over to to Kickstarter and just type in Silverline and it'll take you to it. I'm sure there's if you go to Facebook,
so that's Cat and Mouse
Facebook
number
pages,
4.
And Kalis.
So Cat and Mouse are facing, and Kalis new series. Is it the middle of a new series or the end of a new series?
Second issue, I believe. Yep.
Second issue, yes. And Cat and Mouse are fending off their enemy, the lady. I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head.
Nemesis. Yeah,
but she's doing human trafficking, and they're gonna fight to the bitter end. And Kalis is the awesome sci-fi tale. I had a thought about what it really is, but I'll have to bring that up some other time. But it's really well done, and
yes,
great dad sci-fi. So that's the best way to put it. But it's awesome. Okay, so Vic, we commend you and praise you for creating pages and having a lot of heart. So we ask that you just keep on hammering stuff out and look at your stuff with a critical eye. Go back to it and look at it and say, how can I adjust? How can I change? How can I fix? And
how can I make it more dramatic?
Yep. And you are well on your way. I mean, you have some very good storytelling beats happening in some of your pages. You're thinking things through. Just make sure you got the clarity going, and we are excited to see more pages. So now, if you make some new pages and they're better, send them along and we'll take a look at them. All right?
Yep.
Okay. So as it goes, what do we say? Yes. Make mine Silverline. All right.
Adios.
Yeah. Adios if I can find the end. Ciao.
My name is Ross Ritchie from Boom Studios, and make mine Silverline.
Aha. Got my